All right, so for this video, we're going to look at composite figures or compound shapes. So it's more than one shape put together. So what's different about this page is that some of the shapes aren't clearly defined. And that's why I wanted to go over this with you, because we've got to figure out kind of where to cut it and figure out what shapes we have. Okay, we're not going to do all of them, but I do want to look at several of them. Okay, so like number 2, there's no lines cutting. So like number 1, you can see that there's a half circle on top of a rectangle. But number 2, there is no line. So we've got to figure out where do I draw the line to figure out what shapes I have. So look at your numbers. So we can see 8 and 8. And so that's trying to tell you that it's a square. So we want to cut it off to where it's a square. So I'm going to draw my line to cut it, and you can see now we've got 2 separate shapes. So then we can find the area of each shape. So 8 times 8 is 64. And then we're going to multiply 16 times 8, which is 128. And then we'll add both numbers together to find our total, which is 192 centimeters squared. All right, so I'm going to look at a different one, kind of same concept, but it's a little bit different looking. So number 4, so again, same thing. We'll look at the numbers that you're given. If you're given the same numbers side by side, they're telling you to square. So I'm going to mark it off to where it looks like a square. And then we can find our area. So 32 times 8 is 256. Then we have 16 times 16, since it's a square, which is 256. And then we're going to add the 2 answers together, which is 512 feet squared. Okay, so we'll look at our last kind of rectangle one, number 8. So again, a little bit different. So find the numbers where they're the same side by side. So this one, we see 18 and 18. So we're going to draw it this time a little bit differently. And it doesn't matter really where you draw it. Just be careful, because you may have to adjust some of your numbers on the side. So we'll find the area of each shape and then add them together. So we've got 21 times 20. Which is 420. And then we'll do 18 times 18, which is 276. And then we'll add each numbers together to get one total, which is 696 centimeters squared. Okay, so like number 5, we did one like that yesterday. So like I said, some of these we've kind of done before. This may look a little bit different. Okay, so let's look at number 6. So number 6 is kind of like our ones we just did. It doesn't show you what your shapes are, but you can kind of tell where they're supposed to be separated. So right here, we can see that 2 numbers are side by side. So that's telling us it's going to be separated right there in the middle. And so that's telling us, and hopefully you can tell by looking at it, that it's a triangle on top of a rectangle. So we're going to find the area of each shape. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then our triangle formulas are 1/2 BH. So they're telling us the height is 2 from top to bottom. We want the base of the triangle, and that's going to be 3. So I'm going to have 3 times 2, which is 6. 1/2 of 6 is 3. Add our 2 numbers together, and we get 15 inches squared. All right, so let's do number 7, because we haven't really seen one like number 7 before. So this one's again, it looks different. So we can see the dotted line telling us where it's separated. So this is going to be a square, because I give you one number. So we find the area. 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, on top it's a half circle. So what's different about this is they're showing you the line, and that's telling us that's a radius. Most time we've been doing it as a diameter, but this time they're showing it as a radius. So it's a half circle, so we have our 1/2, and then pi r squared. We're going to let pi be 3. Okay, so we have 3. Since it's a radius, we're going to write it down 2 times. Then we're going to multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Then we're going to half 27, so we're going to divide that by 2. So we get 13.5. And then we're going to add our two numbers up. So 13.5 plus 36. And we get 49.5 meters squared. All right, and so that's all we're going to look at for this page. So your homework will be similar to the problems that we just did. You're going to have your composite figures, and you will have one that is your net.